Maintaining your beard isn't just style, it's self-respect. A well-groomed beard boosts confidence and leaves a lasting impression. Elevate your look. Embrace the importance of beard care today. All right, I want to pose this question to the panel. Be honest. What's the last time you felt like you were about to explode? And how did you or didn't you deal with it?
I would say
I went
a couple
somewhere else.
days ago.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I went somewhere else, but okay, I know what you mean there.
Did you go where I was talking about being in the bathroom?
Okay. I'm talking about anger. When's the last time you felt like you were about to explode with anger, rage? And how did you or didn't you deal with it?
And I have went and visited Curacao. It's a country, a small island or a country in South America. And on the way to come back home, my old lady, she messed up her ankle or something on the walk there. So we get to the airport, we get to the counter. It's like 5 people in front of us. And by the time we get to the counter, the lady is like, "Oh, y'all can't get on the plane. It's within 2 hours of the plane about to board." It was like an hour or something like that of the plane about to board, so we can't let you on. So the people that's in front of us just so happen to be boarding the plane as well. So once I find out, I'm like, well, shit, you got 4, 5 people in front of us, you know what I'm saying, that's finna board. And what's the problem? And we had our kids with us. So I'm like, we got kids with us too, man. Just let us just board the plane. Long story short, Shorty wouldn't let me on. And I'm ready to go home. I'm frustrated. So I'm on a million, at this point. And they had security in there, and the chick, she waving security over. So I'm just ready to lash out on somebody. So I'm like, yeah, come on, security, yeah, come on. Dude, like, no, y'all figure it out. Long story short, I really, really wanted to put hands on her, even though I don't put hands on women. But
what?
It was one of them. It was one of them situations where she was, really just taking it there. But yeah, I had to bring it back in and realize, one, I'm not in America. Two, you know what I'm saying, I gotta continue to set an example for the children, for the kids. And it wasn't worth it. So Waffle just ate it. We ate it and ended up spending another day outside of the country involuntarily. But that was maybe about 3 years ago. That was really the last time that I would say that I was ready to go down.
Okay. Well,
Man, Viz with them butter whip, you tweaking, dog. You got them butter whips over there talking about, so 3 years ago was the last time I was in a fit of rage. Nigga, I was in a fit of rage Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Got some news about my daughter. I'm 700 miles away from my kids, and she down there acting a fool. And finally got her on the phone and wanted to let loose on her. But the nature of the situation didn't call for me to unleash all of that on her in the moment. She needed something different from me in the moment. So I centered myself. I gave her a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then I turned into Heathcliff Huxtable and gave her the Dr. Huxtable conversation. So Sunday was the last time that I was in a fit of rage, about to explode. But again, I had to center myself and think about the bigger picture and really kind of assess what she needed from me in that moment and address what needed to be addressed properly. I'm on mute.
Okay. All right. Let me just get a couple more people, man. We ain't gotta drag it out. So if you got something you want to share as far as when the last what you laughing at me is.
I'll say, yeah, now that I think about it, a bit of rage. So, I've been MIA, been dealing with a lot. My mom was diagnosed with cancer last October, so I kind of took a break. But she did the chemo and all that, so that's looking good. And my brother and I'm the eldest of 4 children, so we hold it down, whatever they need, and then my dad's health right behind that start failing. Like he has a congestive heart failure. I think it's CHF. So this is a man like that's a behemoth of a dude. All of a sudden taken out of work and whatever. So the way that he works and he transfers money between businesses, he's like, oh, I'm good. And me and my brother like, but you can't stop that engine from going between the businesses he has here in Nigeria. So me and my brother had to handle that. And the part that was interesting to me is that I have a family member that lives with them. And my dad had paid like the mortgage out for a few months. And that person, and all of a sudden I had heard that person that lives in my parents' house wrecked their car. wrecked their car. And they only have one car because my dad is between here and Nigeria so much. So it's basically my mom's car. So they did that. Didn't do anything. This person works and everything. Didn't do anything to make up for it. So now I'm being asked if I could ship our spare car. But it's me, I'm going to do it. Then I found out that after that mortgage was paid up, the months were up, my parents' mortgage is $1,600. That's how long they've had their house. $1,600. You can't find an apartment damn near anywhere in America for $1,600. I get a call from my brother like, hey, what are we going to do? I want to help mom and dad out with the mortgage. I said, excuse me? There's a grown person living in that house with their son. Who's asking me to pay the mortgage while that person living in their house? And to be quite honest, me and this person have had a back and forth for a long time. The sad part is, given the way we were raised, if it was me in that situation living there, it'd be automatic. Nobody would hurt anything, right? So I was rageful, but my response is always to come at things in this is what I believe and this is what you should do. And that's what I've done the entirety of my life when it came to this person. But I chilled out and I said, you know what? I'm not going to be rageful. I'm going to get strategic. And I use strategy to get accountability out of that person. I said nothing. And I know they were waiting for it, because have y'all ever had that situation where you got a back and forth with somebody and they use that back and forth as a reason to not do whatever it is you're trying to get them to do? Y'all talking to me crazy. So I said, I understand. I've been through this 100 times. I'm not doing it. I'm not saying anything. And I got really, really strategic. And because I knew that you can't find anywhere else to live at that price, I basically sent a letter saying I'm buying my parents' house. They're moving in with me, and anybody in this house will need to vacate because it's gonna get rented out. So then that person gets on the phone with me. You see what I'm saying? It's like, well, I can help out and, and I can pay it. You see what I'm saying? So instead of getting rageful, which I usually get when it comes, and I'm warranted. I really have the ability to do that. I decided to get strategic instead and try to beat this person with logic. Talk to my brother, let my brother talk to that person and everything. So I didn't have a contentious back and forth to give them an excuse to be trifling some more.
You talking big bank take little bank. That's rich people problems. I see you. That's why you carry a gun? All right, good. So
No. So no cap. That whole I'm buying my parents' house shit was a ruse. It was a ruse.
So you pump fake. Okay.
No, and I could actually I have a contract to buy another house, but in my brain I was like, let me just use that that approval that I got right now and get that letter sent to my parents' house instead. So yeah, I could, but I'm trying to buy a house for my children, me and my family. So, but I could buy my parents' house with that and rent it out. But nah, I was pump faking. Yep.
I'll be real quick. I'm completely honest and out front about I grew up in trauma. You understand? Raised in the South Bronx after I came up from the Virgin Islands and stuff. It wasn't easy, especially kids was very tough, and I used to be soft and cry and stuff like that. But then, I grew violent as a young dude. Father wasn't there. Mom couldn't understand the dynamics of things because she was there working. So there was always a trauma dynamic within how I grew up. Family was aggressive. Grandfather used to fight uncle, shootouts, stuff like that. Nothing to brag about, but the experiences, you sponge them, and then you use those for conflict resolution if you don't have clinical. Because you could throw a Bible at me 1,000 times. If you don't sit down with somebody and unpack that, that's not a good thing. Even going at year 52 in September of my life, I still get triggered by certain things, but I've learned certain methods to pull back. But there's times where, as humans, we're flawed. I threatened a guy that I would come tear his head off, and that was a couple weeks ago. From him playing around with my name, all the stuff that I do, I had a moment where I was atrocious. As for all the things I've built up, and if those people that have seen me help and do stuff, they see a whole different person. And I was praying on it, and I went and I spoke to my therapist and stuff like that, because I don't know where it came from and where that trigger was. And I can't speak for everybody, but we all have something that brings us to that point where we would just jump off. And I was unashamed of the language that I used, because I know this person, I gave permission to push my buttons and rent space in my head for a moment. I went and actually found the person because they thought it was over, but not on a violent tip. And I had a discussion because I realized one interaction, I could lose everything that I've worked for. One bad move, when everything simmers down and I'm in that 6x9 again, all that was for naught because you couldn't stand on your square. I think we're all working on ourselves every day. And every man has something. I can speak for myself. I still see I need more work. And I think the work will continue until someone is reading my eulogy. But that was that moment where I was not happy with the man, Kenneth Percival. I was not happy with the guy that, is a steward for the community. I was not happy for the uncle that I am, the family that I represent, and my last name. And, you have to be honest. Everybody's prideful and ignorant, and I have no place for that because I got less sunrises and sunsets to see. So I'm gonna be honest. So that's why I took it upon myself to go speak to that individual and told him where I felt and why I responded the way I did, and iron that out as a man should. I digress.
All right, man. I appreciate you being transparent there, Kenny. Thank you, man. Pretty sure a lot of people would be able to appreciate that on the panel and off the panel, man. We'll go ahead and play this clip, man, and then we're going to go ahead and continue this discussion. All right. A little bit of context, man, just to kind of further discussion. But how do you guys feel when you're seeing men express themselves, especially like our role models or either people you may look up to, even on some of the panels, when you see people rage with anger? How does that look to you? Go ahead, Brown Bruiser.
I mean, I haven't. Oh, that was you, Lewis? You going, Lewis?
Nah, I didn't mic off.
Okay, so I haven't witnessed anybody rage like that before. Usually, there's some kind of emotional intelligence or something like that. So I've never seen it online on these panels. At least the panels I've been on, never seen. I've never been a part of a conversation or a panel where somebody would rage out in anger. I guess I need to get around on panels more, but I haven't seen it. I would think they would just be emotionally weak. You know, they can't. I think it's whenever you respond with anger and out of control, I think maybe that's you not being able to channel your anger in a way to where you can respond in a way where you can articulate yourself without sounding crazy or whatever. I think it's called keeping your composure, so to speak. You know what I mean? Remaining calm under pressure so that somebody can understand. I think people are better understood whenever they're calm under pressure, and whenever they're just angry and loud, it's kind of hard to receive what they're saying, especially when it's a lot of profanity in their words. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, maybe somebody who experienced it on a panel may be able to give a better context on that.
Hey, I'm gonna go to you, Luis. Go ahead.
I've seen a couple people crash out. You know, I've seen a couple people crash out. I've seen a couple people kind of, lean off their square and kind of say certain things or posture themselves, unbecoming of them. But I think it's sometimes you just get caught in the heat of the moment. And I sometimes don't even think it's necessarily rage. I think it's just passion. There are certain people who are very passionate about certain things, whether it's, about their kids, whether it's about their family, whether it's a certain particular topic. And, they're heavily invested and they feel a particular type of way. Right. So I think we should probably distinguish, being overly passionate and being rage. I think, being rage is you losing control and you start using profanity because you no longer have the ability to articulate yourself effectively and communicate with the people who you're sharing space and conversation with. Being passionate, is really, being emotional, but in a very outward open manner. Like, you're very fixated on your beliefs, right? People are very, passionate about their religion. You know what I'm saying? People are very passionate about whatever sport team they are. So I think that it's important to kind of distinguish the two. In terms of people kind of crashing out or being in that rage space, it takes a lot to be stoic. It really takes a lot to kind of sit there in the moment and really hear someone say something that is like 1,000 needles that go right through your very skin and be able not to flinch or lose your cool. That takes a lot of practice. And I don't think that that's something that a lot of people are born with. That is something that is you have to constantly practice, something you have to constantly learn and be self-aware of what those things are and what those triggers are and how to, maybe potentially interject and tell that person like, hey, you're going down a very slippery and dark road. Like, let's not go there because things could go left. So let's just change the conversation or the tonality, whatever the case may be. But I think there's an opportunity for you to redirect so things don't really get to that point. And I think that you got to put a little bit onus on yourself, understanding yourself, right? And where your pitfalls are and where your shortcomings lie. I really do believe that that is something that a lot of young people need to learn at a very young age, as opposed to a lot of the alternative, curricular subjects that they're learning now. I think for young boys, ushering into manhood, I think that's very important because it allows them to, be better communicators, be more effective, be more present, also negotiate better, but also understand how to handle adversity and how to handle somebody who is coming at you what seems to be in a very threatening manner. And I think once we have that kind of mastered down, you'll see a lot of people not given to their primordial instincts. Are you?
Right. Anybody else want to add on to that real quick before we move on?
Yeah, I used to bounce for about 8 years in Chicago. So every weekend I would see people crashing out, going out in rages, and just showing off because they got that liquid courage in them. Me personally, I think that that's simply a sign of weakness. If you're not able to control your emotions in public, or even in a setting where you allow for someone to push you to that extent, I think that that's a sign of weakness. Now, at the same time, like how we spoke about before with stoicism, um, is I do believe in it, but just as Jocko was saying, it can become dangerous if you just bottle all of that in. But I do believe that it's important for men to be able to understand how to carry themselves in the time of conflict, because if you show that you're weak in that moment, then of course that opens up the doors for someone to take uh to 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 take advantage of you. Early on, when I first started bouncing, um I would people would throw out um attacks, and oh man, you this, you that, woo woo, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, you say them, that's fighting words. We got to scrap. But of course, in a place of business, it's not you can't do that. And of course, you can't just be getting into it with people on just because. So it built a tolerance for me, a stronger tolerance, as to where it was like, man, you clearly you just talking. They really not on nothing. They're really just saying this stuff to be seen. And I remember even with Jay-Z, he had did an interview where he spoke about he was having a session with his therapist, and he pointed out that a lot of the reasons why there's a lot of fights in the hood, and typically it'll kick off because somebody is looking at you, right? Somebody looking at you like, man, fuck this nigga looking at, and now you gotta fight that's finna kick off. And what he pointed out, and it made sense, was that people were afraid of being seen. They were afraid of their weaknesses being exposed to this person. So it's one of those deals where of course you got to check yourself before you walk outside. You got to know what your limits are and know how to dial yourself back, because if you don't, then just like Kenny said, that can land you in the joint for a long time over a silly decision. But at the same time, I think even in Kenny's case, sometimes you got to check a motherfucker. Sometimes you gotta let them know what it is. Uh, so it's one of those deals where I feel that with all things, you have to find balance in yourself and how it is that you approach situations.
I find it we have to be careful about using this word weak. We have moments of weaknesses because we're not stoic all the time. If you say you're stoic 100% of the time, you're a robot or you're a cyborg. We all have moments where we are supposed to show weakness, but what is the corrective action that ensues that?
Now,
Are you
I don't think that weakness is necessarily a bad thing when it comes to if you understand the balance of it. If you expose your weakness, that's one thing. We all have weak spots, or weak areas in our armor, right? But exposing that's a even larger form of weakness, in my
I'm
opinion.
surprised you answered that, Visitor Poet, because he stated that we all have situations where we have to show weakness. So that means you agree that there's instances where we're supposed to show weakness.
Nah, let me correct the statement that
Yeah, I don't think I heard him.
you took.
So
We
you
are
didn't say
all-
that.
We are all flawed. There will be moments in our
Right.
lives that we show weakness.
Oh,
But
okay.
what is the corrective action that ensues that? Are you the man that could put your pride and ignorance aside and go speak to a man and go iron it out rather than rush into the breach and whatever happen? Or are you that man that can simmer down, take a knee, and realize that this is not the man that you wish to continue to be, and you go and you solve a problem rather than quantify it?
And you call that, what do you call that? You said that's weak. Is that what you mean by weakness?
So, okay, let me
I'm
reel
just
it
trying to
back.
figure out what part of what you stated you associated with weakness. Because I would argue that putting your differences aside and going to go hash it out in a respectful manner is a sign of strength.
Okay, well, the sign of weakness is responding with threat of violence and finalities that could come from violence. That's a sign of weakness, as Visitor Poet stressed. If you're not on your square, we can make life-altering decisions just like this. The ability for you to catch yourself, simmer down, take a knee, and then take corrective actions, that's the sign of evolution. You could have been a man that just action, ready, set, go. But now,
Oh, I've had an occasion where I've responded with violence, and I don't agree that that was me being weak.
okay, what
You
was
want
the
to hear it?
context? Were you protecting someone, or was it just a disagreement that got past words?
Is it
There's
just
always context as for when you get past words and use violence. Do you
yeah?
care to
So
elaborate?
yeah, I probably should elaborate so you can understand. But it was a case where I was living in Newport News, Virginia. I had a place out there, and I had a tool shed in the back. And this guy would come in there sometimes and sleep in there because he had nowhere to go. And I told him, if you keep coming on my property, I'm gonna bust a cap in your ass. I don't think that made me weak. I mean, if I've told him the first couple times nicely, hey, look, you find somewhere else to stay. You can't just keep crashing in my tool shed. And I don't even know how he's getting in there because I had a security system with these little sensors. I made sure I ordered one from the security to put an extra one out there so I know whenever it would open. But I don't know if he was putting a magnet on it to keep it from chiming on my panel. Somehow he was able to keep getting in there. It was pissing me off. And I told him, look, man, you see this right here? If you next time you come on here, I'm gonna pop a cap in your ass. So you calling me weak?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Nah.
necessarily weakness.
I call that weakness. Just like I
Yeah.
called myself out
Listen,
weakness,
man.
because you could have called the authorities. Why do you feel you need to be Dirty Harry and show them that you got the smokehouse? You could have
Because
called.
the police ain't gonna the police ain't gonna say if you do this, I'm gonna pop a cap. The police is gonna shoot his ass.
Okay, so you're telling me there was not other ways of handling that, calling the
I don't think
necessary
I
people,
think the
get them off your
police would have
property?
handled it. I think the police would have handled it with violence. They would have probably popped off at the dude. The way the dude was, I guess I got to give more context on how he was responding to the things I was saying. But I didn't think it was necessary that I did it if it led to me pulling a pistol out. Can you imagine what to make a man pull? I mean, you had to. I've argued with plenty of people on this panel. It really takes a lot for me to get angry. But for me to pull a pistol out and walk out there and say, hey, look, man, if you keep coming on my property, dude was nuts.
From the context that you're giving, okay, the people with the white the white van and the big white net was supposed to come get him, or you were supposed to get the authority. Anything that you say I'm listening with intention is like you really wanted to go show him that you was Dirty Harry.
Well, I don't think I was dirty. It was my property. I had the right to have privacy on my property.
I agree. Watch,
my
I'm in
property.
100% agreement. But if I'm gonna pull it, I'm gonna use it. Why did
Yeah.
you show it to him?
Because he didn't take me serious the first two times I said it.
So you think he took you more serious when you just
He never
showed him
showed
head?
up. He never showed up. He never saw him again.
So Kenny, I gotta agree with Bruiser on this. Let me tell you why. He stated the multiple steps he took to let the man know. And the sad part is that historically, violence is a form of communication. If we're talking about being stoic, if we're talking about protecting your own property, that's why gun laws are written the way it is. Each man has the right to protect his own property, his body, his family, or the property of his neighbor, which means that an affront to you on your property is like the worst kind. I do not feel comfortable with knowing that a man is willing to violate my rights and my privacy when my family is home. What if I'm not here? So he went through those steps. He said, I confronted him multiple times, but that's where you need to take it, because maybe he took that this dude's just being nice, he ain't gonna do shit. And that's the part I was listening for. How many steps did you take before you went and like literally that's the point where you have to take it, especially between men. The reason I resonate with that is because my wife keeps trying to buy, like she wants to get into investment properties, and I said, you got to wait. I don't want to do that. They're doing this squatting thing now, and she's from New York. And I said, babe, you already know who I am. Nobody can say that they're going to squat on my property and then the police show up and take me to jail because I put new locks on the doors. That's what they're doing in New York right now. I said, I'm going to delete somebody. You already know. That's an affront to me. You see what I'm saying? That's a complete disrespect to me. I said, don't do me like that. If someone's going to come on your owned property where you pay, then not pay you, and then you still got to pay, you will be outside of yourself in that type of experience. And unfortunately, brute force might be the only thing they let them to let them gauge your seriousness. Unfortunately.
Trigger Mike, it just sounds
So
like
what
you want to use
lessons do you think? What lessons do you think will be learned? What lessons do you think will be learned more? If I call the police or me threaten a man, I'm putting a motherfucker on paper. Fuck him. Fuck his feelings. And if the police fucking shoots him, there's less paperwork and attorney fees I got to deal with. I don't give a damn about you motherfuckers. If you don't have my goddamn last name, you ain't got my bloodline. Why should I care about you if you violate my home? It's my house. I don't care what the police does. I don't care what you look like or who you are. A 9 and 99, I don't care. Don't violate my crib. Because I'm not looking for you to come to break bread with me. I look at you as a threat. So I will treat you as such. So I'm going to call the officer. I'm going to put you on paper.
And you could.
I'm not going to waste my time with any other things. And for the record, Mike, squad has always been around. That's always been an issue. That's never not been an issue. So it's not just a new thing of a squatter. I had to deal with. I'm about to deal with it now when I go to the auction and buy a piece of property. Because some people's in there, and I can't do nothing until I get to the property. But it is what it is.
I'm gonna say too, to Trigger Mike, you technically can't delete somebody because they're in a house squatting on you.
I live in Texas. I beg to differ.
Shed.
No, you still can't, bro. Like
I know. I'm not talking about squatting. I'm talking about I wasn't talking about the law. You see what I'm saying? I'm a firearms instructor by trade. Like on the side, I do that. So I understand the laws of what I can do. What I'm saying is the way I take it, like the offense that I would take to something like that, is where I would be beside myself. So on my own property, meaning if they're if somebody brings a deadly weapon to my doorstep, you know what I mean? That I understand those laws very well, but no, I'm not going to use that method of force as my first option for a squatter.
Yeah. So. Well, no, just wanted to clarify that. And then even too with Darwin, even just you showing them, you know what I'm saying? That's aggravated assault. I'm all for, you know, violence when it's a necessity. I'm not opposed to that at all, and I am a 2A advocate as well. So is you can definitely find yourself in a sticky position, especially with the topic being what it is that we're talking about. But I get it. I understand having to escalate it to that extent, but that can definitely get you in a sticky position for anybody else that's listening to this.
You got to do him dirty, Bruiser. I'm gonna
I
put in the back.
realized that Trigger Mike was slanted when he heard it because he has a certain passion and he expressed it. But let's not omit what I said. Bruiser, did you take the necessary steps? Did you call the authorities? You worried about smoking him, but you didn't realize, as Hank would say, put him on paper. If he returns after that, he get what he get. You understand? That's a no bond right there.
I didn't put him on paper. I didn't call the police. I didn't want to get the police involved. In fact, at the time this is going on, I really had like I'm gonna use your word, slanted. I had a slanted perception of the police, given the cases and brutality and stuff like that going on. I actually hated the police at that time. So I didn't want them on my property. I didn't want to call them. I didn't want to be involved with them. So I admit that much. But it was my property. I warned him multiple times not to come onto my property. He wasn't just coming in my yard. This man was breaking and entering into my property. This is an extension of my home.
Yeah, Bruce, you should have
So
called
he's
the police.
in there, continuously breaking in my home, and I think I'm well in my right to protect what's mine.
Yeah, I would have called the police. It would only have to happen one time here. God damn. But to answer your the question though, Jay, what was the question again? I think we got totally off of it now. Was about, have we seen somebody have a fit of rage or something?
It was just about you personally. That was in the beginning. I'm kind of building up the main topic, okay. But if you want to shed a light on the time where you've had some rage and anger, and how did you deal with it?
The last time I had to the point of what, doing something violent or just getting upset and just go from there.
I mean, you could discuss however you want to discuss it, brother. Just yeah. I mean, just anytime you felt some rage that was just abnormal. I mean, there's people that be irritated but actually rage. I mean, totally out of Hank.
You said what, brother?
Like if somebody was to see it and they'd be like, that's totally out of character for Hank. Well, I'm surprised Hank would even say that. I'm surprised Hank would even do that.
So the last time I probably was in rage was probably when I left the mediator's office when I got divorced. And I realized all the money I had to pay and what I was about to come out of, losing 5 years of my pension, and it gave up half of my 401k, not including 11,000. I had to just write a check right there on the spot just to give her of what I had in my account. Yeah, that's probably the last time I raged. And now I didn't go to the point of putting hands on nobody, but I sure questioned my lawyer, and I wanted to choke his ass out. I'm like, God damn, I feel like you work for her. But that's probably the last time I really raged that I could remember. So.
Okay. And so how did you handle it? You just had a conversation with the attorney and just settled down?
Man, I drove away. That's the only thing I could do is drive away, let the window down and just breathe and come home and just be by myself. I didn't come out for like 3 days and I didn't want to see nobody. I guess fortunately for me, it was like, the weekend. So I had a couple of days. I didn't have to go to work the next 3 days. So it just allowed me to, calm down and get myself together mentally, Now, fortunately, I had to go and, talk to my buddy, saying, prior to actually going back to work, because I didn't know how I was going to respond. You know, somebody say the wrong thing, something reminded me of something what was said in the office. I probably would have went off on them and cost me my job, you know, cost me my career, and it cost me more than that, maybe my freedom. I mean, that's how pissed off I was. So, you know, fortunately, I had my buddy, guy who was my best man, you know, have a conversation with him. You know, he helped talk me off the ledge. You know, that's how pissed I was. He said, man, you'll be fine. You'll get it back. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the mindset I have, you'll never get it back. I can never make up that 5 years I'm missing, that 11,000 I'm missing. But I understood what he was saying. It's going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? The sun's going to rise. It'll get better. But at that moment, you couldn't tell me shit. So thank God for good people.
All right, man. I appreciate you being transparent. I'm going to go ahead. I got this clip that I want to start off playing, and I'm going to go to you, Trev, after this. To kind of respond off this clip. But this is Wes Watson. He was on a Fresh and Fit panel, and he was talking about success. So I do want to kind of get some of you guys' input on what does success look like to you when it comes to men. So we'll go ahead and play a little bit, get Trev's input, and then we'll play a little bit more. All right, go ahead, Luis.
All right. Look, I'm gonna be a contrarian. I think what he's saying and what he has said is rather damaging, and is creating a rather dangerous rhetoric. And I'm gonna say this: I'm all for being competitive. I'm all for being competitive. I'm all for working hard. I'm all for being, you know, hard on yourself and pushing yourself. You know what I'm saying? I go to the gym 6 days a week. You know, I read, I write. You know, I research. You know, I find other ways to create other streams of income, right? I think that the messaging is so intertwined with trying to level up and better yourself, and in the mix of you ain't shit unless you're this guy that is up here. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're within this small threshold. There are men who are going to cross a certain threshold that a lot of other men are just not going to get to. They might get close, but they might not get there. I would never diminish those men's ability to climb as far as high as they have, because when they look down, there's a huge pool of men who haven't even started to ascend their. There's a ton of men who haven't even started to ascend on their journey. You know what I'm saying? I think that the entire rhetoric should be more focused on you should not be sitting at home on the couch eating potato chips. You should be working out. You should be going out working. You should be networking with other men. You should be working on yourself mentally. You should be addressing whatever concerns or issues. Brothers, you have a mic open. You know, like you have to kind of address certain problems, right? To kind of get there. You have to sit down and really visualize where you want to go and how you and what that type of man you want to be. And then you got to chip away at it. It's not going to happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? All these conversations that all those dudes talk about, they're talking about hitting the lotto. The only thing that happens overnight is you fucking hitting the lotto and you getting laid overnight or dying overnight. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is progress. Everything else takes time to get there. You know what I'm saying? Your first day in the gym is you're not going to look like a Mr. Universe. And that's not even the goal for most men, to look like that, like a Mr. Universe competition. But your goal should be to look the best looking version of yourself. Don't be out here looking like a slob. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself and treat yourself like how other people want to treat you. You know what I'm saying? Care about how you look, care about how you dress, care about how you talk to people and how you show up for other people. You know what I'm saying? And also, it's not about making $1 billion either. You know what I'm saying? It's about financial literacy and understanding how to properly invest your money and how to make your money work for you. You know what I'm saying? So you could have more options and collect more of your day and time so you can spend it with friends and family or the things that really matter to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, but if you're not a billionaire, but if you're not a multimillionaire, I don't think that's everybody's goal. And a lot of people are not going to make it to that threshold. It would be nice, but however, the messaging gets construed. And the thing about it is, though, everybody on the panel is a very seasoned individual who are fathers, you know what I'm saying, mentors. They're in different seasons and capacity of their life. But unfortunately, there are a lot of young men who don't have guidance or the right role model, and they're hearing this and they're misconstruing like, well, if I don't make it by this age and I'm not this, then life is over. Well, when life is really beginning for a lot of those young people. And that's the part that I find damaging. The motivation, I'm with it. Fuck, like, let's go. I'm motivated, I'm hungry, I'm ready to do the work. But all that other extra sauce bullshit, that's all fluff. That's the show. That's the dog and pony show right there. You know what I'm saying? All that shit is extra. And it doesn't even give a roadmap or even show how to navigate through certain things, whether you're starting that business, whether you're trying to get into the gym, whether you're trying to overcome something mentally or a certain thing in your life to get you over that hump. Because there's a lot of people who are dealing with a lot of obstacles that they're trying to get around so they could get started on that race, right? That's not even talked about or hint about. It's always about the Bugatti and the car. None of that shit even matters.
Why it don't matter?
Why it doesn't matter? Because at the end of the day, I would agree that I would concede to the idea that a lot of men would probably want a healthy, a healthy, flourishing family over, you know what I'm saying, the Bugatti car. Although that is nice, and if you could get to it, get to it. But I think in terms of priority in its hierarchy, that's not on the higher level.
Also, secondly, you stated that, I guess what he was saying, diminish somebody else or whatever, or tell them they not, I don't know, he said tell them they're not good enough, or what they're doing is not good enough. But I think he gave context from what he was saying. He was saying that people were walking up to him, telling him how to do a push-up, giving him relationship advice. And I think all the man was saying was, if you're going to give me advice, or
that's only one example that he gave, and that was a poor example that he kind of just plugged in at the end.
I think the whole point was, if you're going to give me advice or give me tips or give me guidance or directions, come from an elevated position. In that position that you've done the things, that you yield the results that you're trying to get me to yield. And if they don't match up with what you're saying, then get the fuck out of my face. I don't find nothing wrong with that. And I think we need to strive. I think we need to set bars high so we can excel. I think it's important that we move like that. I think we need to look at ourselves and rank ourselves among other men. If you're between 18 and 23, you should be doing what? College, military, or high school. And then once you start getting up to 25, you got to look at all the other 25-year-olds. Where they at in life? You still at home, then you lose it.
And you don't see why I call you an elitist.
I'm just saying, this ain't got nothing to do with it. If you get to 40 and you look at all the other 40-year-olds, you have to look at yourself where you rank amongst other men. If
you don't judge yourself by no other man, you run your own race in life. Some people give no cares about being rich. Some people find value in just family and keeping a roof over their head and happiness. You listen to a man that espouses. You're listening to a man that espouses what would be comparable to David Goggins. You understand? Never Finished, or one of those books. Not everybody can walk that lane. The man that looks in the mirror and runs his race, not every man is going to be in the top 10%, 5%, 1%. That man West just said, if you're not measured up to that, he has no respect for you. Did you listen to that? That's the same man that we saw a video that he openly embarrassed his friend because he couldn't pay a dinner bill. Who does that to their friend? Yeah, that same steroid head in the tight pants.
So hold on, wait. Let me get the context. He embarrassed his friend
he
because
took a friend. He took a friend. They went out to dinner, and he put the bill on him. But then he started filming his friend because his friend couldn't pay the bill because it was very expensive. Him being the rich one, you stunted on your man. You understand? He embarrassed him on the camera. That's Wes whatever his name is. I saw the video.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to attack this dude character or how
Okay,
he
no.
behaved.
Let's get that
Hold on,
aside.
wait,
Let's
let me
touch on.
just say this thing. I wasn't trying to go into a rabbit hole on how this dude behaved with his friends, or I'm just talking about the video at hand. Now, if we were discussing the results of that video and the topic was surrounding that, and I got the context behind it, I would be able to see, what actually happened, because I'm beginning to believe that a lot of things that we see, the videos, I interpret it different than everybody on the panel. So I would go as far as to say the things the details you're giving me about the video could be biased on how you saw it through your own lens.
Okay,
I may have saw something different.
I'm not gonna let you escape from what you said. You understand? Frig the video. The man just diminished the 90% that ain't gonna ever be rich, and said they lack value if they don't match what he's doing. You can't get a message that uplifts you from someone that is in a lower tax bracket. Basically, that's what he's saying. Get out my face. I can't listen to Viz the Poet. If I have $10 million and Viz the Poet says, you know what? You need to work on this about your character. And I say to Viz the Poet, your bank big like mine? Get out my face.
And what did he get kind of? He said, instead of
honestly, I don't see
let me just say
anything
this
wrong
one
with
thing.
that.
Let me just say this one thing. He gave context at the very end.
Viz,
he said, instead of hold on real quick, Kenny. I'm not gonna let you do that. He said, instead of coming up and telling me how to do a push-up, or telling me that my girl is this or whatever, or I should do it this way, ask how to do it. Humble yourself. Like, damn, man, how do you get so rich? I want to do that. Instead of telling you how to work to get rich.
That's not what he said. That's you. That's you curtailing words to fit your narrative of that aggressive man. That
anybody else hear him say that?
He did say that, Kenny.
Thank you.
I yield.
But let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick,
Viz. I'll give you the floor.
Go ahead.
You know why you're invalid right now? I just gave you a simple point. Okay, let me use JR. If JR is he's up 10 million, and I see something because I'm good at reading the room and judging character. JR, that man's not good for your business because I saw A, B, and C. And JR says, man, instead of even taking it in and seeing if it has value, I'm up 10 million. Get the F out my face.
Hey, and again,
that means,
like I said,
because I don't have as much as you.
I don't think
something I see that can help you lacks value because I'm not in your tax bracket.
I get you, but again, I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Scripture tells us that a fool and his money will depart ways. So if a person chooses to ignore something that somebody else has said, that another grown man says to a grown man, then that's on that person. I don't think it's
fine.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Wait. You see the difference? If I'm using JR again, if JR says, you know what, thanks, but no thanks, that would match what you were saying. What Wes said was get the F out my face. You see the difference?
I mean, it's the same. It's saying the same shit.
I'm gonna play a little bit more of the clip in there. Maybe get a bit more context. Go ahead, Viz, finish up, and then I'll play.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say with this West guy, this is my first time seeing him, and just from how it is that he's approaching and delivering on the stage, I can already kind of tell what type of personality he is, especially with the example that you gave, Kenny. This guy, and I hear what everyone is saying, especially Louise, but this guy essentially is somebody that appears to live off of social media. A lot of the shit that he does is somewhat for clout. Now, I think that his message is important because we do have a lot of men nowadays that we see widely on the internet that blame other people for their own downfalls. So if I think that the message that he's given carries a lot of weight, and only what one would deem as a weak-minded person would take it in a way where it's demeaning to them, much rather than motivating them. One thing in the gym, when you're in the gym, and especially somebody that's like him, because I can only assume that he juicing, that he, you know what I'm saying, that he taking tests or something. But when you in the gym, you talking shit, you're extremely aggressive, and a person like him, he's going to the extreme. So you have extremists, you have people that are content with being average or middle class, mediocre, whatever the case may be, and that's totally fine. But I think if you're one of those people that's on the internet, you're complaining, you hating on somebody, how he get that, he's such and such. I think that message is absolutely needed for those type of people, because shit, it keeps motherfuckers in their place.
I'm put a little bit more of that clip.
Well. JR, you are a master moderator.
How about that? How about that? All that, and this guy is freaking miserable. Miserable. I guarantee you that guy with tits is a lot happier and is living a much more fulfilled life than that dude with the muscles, man, with Wes, whatever.
How can you guarantee
he is
that?
miserable, bro.
Yeah, but-
He's miserable. How can you let these dudes even knock you off your square? Why are you getting
We see
emotional
dudes
on
like
stage?
that,
You
man.
talking about you want to fight dude and all of that. How are these little peons, these people who don't mean anything, these people don't have anything, able to knock you off your damn square? You see the dude with the tits, composed, stoic, able to get his point across, and this guy acting like a little bitch, all emotional. He's miserable. Look at him. This is, and that's why I say this is not for everybody. Your life can be fulfilled in many different ways. You have to do what's great for you. And if that's what you want in life, then you go for it. But this guy is still miserable as hell, and he has everything that he thought that he would want, and he still sucks at life. That's the problem.
I think the dude is doing amazing, and I think the things he said out of his mouth wasn't. I don't think he was. I guess you get overreact or whatever. I think if he looked at this clip and had to redo that interview again, he would say the same thing over. That's who he is. He meant what he said, and he stood on his square. That's how he felt. And it's just, you just gotta understand, everybody is not gonna be that tuck you into your bed and put the blanket and pillow on you type of guy.
So you know what you just
All right,
did?
go ahead, Ken.
Hold on, one mic, y'all. One mic.
Yeah, he's one argument away from being back in prison, though. That's what he is, man. He gonna be somebody's goddamn prison bitch again, and that's exactly what's gonna go. Look, we've seen dudes like this before, talk all this shit, but his ass will be in a fucking fetal position, crying in the fucking bedroom if he lost his girlfriend and got a damn again. Come on, man. We've seen dudes like that.
That dude,
but it's soft, man.
He was roid raging. He was roid raging. So this dude is dangerous, man. He dangerous. And thank you for allowing us to get multiple. I like the way we watched 3 different segments of him it's like developmental to watch him all of a sudden crash the fuck out. Because what we didn't realize is that he is trying to be, and this is what the problem I have with Fresh and Fit. Because I rock with them on some stuff because I believe they have in the repair of masculinity and masculinity being put back in the forefront, we have to talk about it in that super aggressive way. But this is bad when it becomes hyper masculinity, because he actually did something that was very feminine and something that women do. The second he got opposed and heard a dissenting opinion, he couldn't take it and had to get up out of his seat. He couldn't be disagreed with without going nuts. He couldn't be, damn. Sometimes I wish I'm like, man, just get me up on one of these stages. Like, because what he needs to see is somebody, see that dude kind of cowered to him. I'd have stood the fuck up like, who you talking to? You tatted, like, you see what I'm saying? Because it's like, nigga, you ain't got shit but the Phantom. Little dick ass nigga. Like, that's what he's supposed to hear. Because I don't got, like you can say, I don't got none of that shit. Now I'll wreck you up here. I don't give a, he's not expecting that from somebody who doesn't have those things. Those things define him. You see what I'm saying? I would have demoralized his life. What are your children doing right now? What did they read last night? Fuck that. Like, people don't really have the ability to go back at people like that. That's hyper masculinity. I would have given him actual masculinity. What are you putting into this world that you can be proud of? The actual marker of success. I had looked it up. The actual definition of success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. It is going to be something different to every single one of us. I made a goal. I set a standard and I met it. I'm not ashamed of it. I would allow my parents to look on it and look into it and be proud of me. That is my purpose. I have achieved it. My children are safe in their bed. They are fed, right? To think about it, to some immigrants, that's everything. they flee in a war-torn country. That's everything. They're successful. We're breathing clean air. Yeah, right. So I mean, oh my gosh, that dude crashed out at the end so damn bad. You want to kick him in his
The only thing, Trigger Trig, I can't let you get away with diminishing the other dude, man. He was in pocket and he was in frame. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He exposed old boy, and the calmer the other gentleman was, the more what's his name, Wes, the more upset he got. So I wouldn't have matched that energy. I let him crash out. I would have set my tail right there and continue to speak my situation and keep it moving. Nah, dude did exactly what he's supposed to do, Trigger Trig.
That's true in a sense. But what I'm saying is that dude doesn't expect. You see how he had to stand up? You see how he had to stand up?
Yeah.
To get his point across and try to dominate. So like I said, we are different men too.
Man, you're supposed to pull that Keisha all the way up out of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He expected the dude not to
pull baby girl all the way up out of him. She just dying to come out.
But Trig, you hit it on the head though when you said that guy was a different type of guy. Like I agree with Rilla. I agree with Trig at the same time. It depends on what type of man it is that you are, in my opinion, to handle that situation. Because realistically, just from my experience from being around guys like dude, if he was to have stood up, nothing damn near wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? It just would have been one of those deals of where it's like, you think I'm soft, but I'm not soft. And then it's respect after that. You know what I'm saying? We see that a lot of times in the hood. So, and at the same time, with him knowing that this white guy is somebody that is going to stand, that's going to, you know what I'm saying, sit back, even just peeping his body language, you know what I'm saying, with him lean forward. He was uncomfortable. So he saw that. So he was becoming a predator. You know, I see that you uncomfortable. I'm gonna continue to push you to see where it is that I can take you. So I think that it was one of those deals where he was gauging how he was going to react to it. Now, I agree with both sides. I think that is one of those deals of where you have to make the decision of, all right, either I'm gonna take this approach to it or I'm gonna take this approach to it. And either way, I got to deal with the consequences of what comes from it.
Man, he could have had civil discourse with the man. He starts sizing him up, talking about his arms, talking disrespectful and trying to belittle the man because he expressed what type of happiness he found within family and not having much, but he was good with where he was. This goes back to you saying you feel that men should rank and fit certain standards. Everybody's path is different. And I will always give you them elitist lashes across your back, like Django, every time you bring it up, because it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. You watch the man once he allow me to get mine off, is you understand? Allow me to get mine off. I didn't cut you off. Allow me to get mine. I like your shirt. I like that poet. Nice. Cool out. So here's what we gonna do. You jump off and try to disrespect the next man. You try to belittle him, and then that's the type of man that you would want to follow. Then you point out ranking. Everybody has to run their race, and I will keep telling you using elitist until you wish to have introspection. Hink does what Hink does. Rilla does what Rilla does. Trigger like shooting stuff. You know, Latin lover. Of course. Get all the ladies. Do your thing. You like it, I love it. Trev Smooth. All
Shout
of
out to
us
the
is a
Latin
different dynamic, but we are men. We're moving in different directions, but we come within that fire in the village and talk about what we are. We can't be ranked the same. This ain't no military. You understand? Everybody gonna
I
live
agree.
differently. That's like you saying Mahatma Gandhi, for being poor, he couldn't give you something to think about and employ in your life. Nelson Mandela, he couldn't come up to you and you had more money than him, and he couldn't give you something to impart within your life to pass on to your village because his financial status didn't match yours. Everything that revolved around baldy locks and them tight pants was money. Money.
Hold on. So you talking to me?
Hey, so again,
Well,
what I
Everything
said
that
was
revolved
that
around baldy
Hold on, if
locks.
you're gonna talk to me, let me address them.
Baldy locks that was having
First of all,
your guy. Okay, let me put the name because it seems you're not following. Wes Watson. I'm not talking about you. I'm bald just like you. So why would you feel away? You just light skin.
yeah, I just
Chill out.
asked you where you talking to me, and I was just trying
That's
to.
I said
how
Wes Watson.
That's why he
Was you
said
about
that.
to show me your lawn again with your sprinklers? Huh?
I'm just oh, you saw that picture, huh?
Oh yeah, that's nice. You was trying to stunt. I see through everything. You play poker, son.
How am I trying to stunt when I
yeah,
installed my
what's
own
what's wrong
sprinkling
with the man
system?
posting the sprinklers,
Let's
bro?
stay on topic. Come on,
You
Dede.
brought
You
it
always trying
towards the sprinkler
with
system.
you?
I was trying to address what you saying. You're the one going off topic.
Hey, Hank, that nigga is the gooch, man.
Told
He
you.
derailed.
That's my dog right there.
The conversation.
My goddamn dog.
The thing I wanted to address was you said that this ain't no military. Everybody can't rank the same, which was I think was an ignorant statement because everybody in the military don't rank the same. And then when in the context of when I made the statement about rank,
You
was seeing where you rank.
gave age. You gave age parameters. What
You love
someone should do within a given
you love
age.
to
Did
tell
you or
the
did you
person
not?
who's actually speaking what he's saying out of his own mouth while he's speaking, which is beyond me. Like I'm
Repeat that.
literally telling you what I said, but you want to cut me off to tell me what I said. Like, make that okay. Let me.
I didn't cut you off because you babble sometimes. Then you realize you're dealing
I thought
with
I was
me.
actually coming to a point, and I think the things I was saying was coming across understood.
You said I was ignorant for pointing out that you use age brackets. Of course, you have different ranks within the military. You said I feel that men between 18 and 25, let's take that, should be at a certain point. I couldn't get it together between 18 and 25. But guess what? Mark Zuckerberg could.
Sorry for you.
Wait. Mark Zuckerberg could.
I didn't
Does
say
that make him more man than me?
Say, sorry for you, but I didn't say that you had to have it together between 18 to 25.
You said they should be at a certain point. Is that not what you said?
I said between 18 and 23, you're either in the military or you're in college or high school. And then once you get to 25, you should be starting your career.
So
everything 25 still living with your moms. I'm sorry if that triggered you.
Wait, at 25.
Yeah, so Kenny, you saying that there shouldn't be some type of measurement for men at a certain age?
I said that you, meaning Wes Watson, should not tell another man where he should be because he diminishes the lower. He said, you got to be top 10%, or
So
you can't
Kenny,
tell him nothing.
So
You're
Kenny,
not achieving nothing. You're not doing anything.
Should we not tell young men that's 18 or that's in high school that they should get their high school diploma and not drop out?
I never said that. I never said that. But to answer your question,
the same thing, though.
Okay, so you asked the question, but you don't want to answer. You want to run on. So now, if you asked me something, did you not?
Yeah, go ahead, answer it.
Okay, so if I see that you can't do a high school diploma, I'm putting you in a trade. Maybe high school is not the thing for you. Maybe you need to go to a vocational. Maybe you need to go to Job Corps. Maybe this disinterests you. We're so in line with what they tell you you need to complete. I had skills before while I was in high school because my grandfather and my uncle, they were carpenters. Come with me. Let me teach you a little something that you could use. I
Did
had
they
a cousin
ask you?
who was a
Did they
plumber.
pass
Come
down these
work with
rules?
me while I was in high school.
But see, the thing is, of course, we need to be aligned with what they make the rules. If they say you need to have an ID,
Who's they?
a high school, who if they the
I mean,
world
shit, society,
said
shit,
you have
our
to
own
have
society,
a high
shit.
school
Okay, so
diploma, you
so
have to
Viz,
have a driver license. You have to have a driver license to operate a vehicle. You go out and get your driver license. I don't understand why we haven't.
okay, a driver's license, you went from formal education. Formal
You know,
education. Did
I think I would
Einstein,
just get.
wait.
No
Did
test.
Einstein, hold on. Did Einstein finish high school?
Oh my God!
All right,
Hey,
so I
but
got. Hold on, hold on,
that's
hold
an
on, hold on,
anomaly. Like
Yeah,
you
I have
already
a
said,
hold
No,
on,
he
hold
like
on,
finished.
hold on. Yeah, I got this clip I want to play.
So there was a great neuroscientist. His name was Jaak Panksepp, Panksepp, who tragically died a few years ago of cancer. And he distinguished a number of brain systems that we share with other mammals. They include care. He capitalized these. So C-A-R-E, care. Then something he calls grief and panic. Then fear, lust, seeking, play, and rage. These are all brain systems that we have. They're all necessary for mammalian life. They're all necessary. Now, by rage, he means the anger that arises when our boundaries are being transgressed. If I were to infringe on your boundaries, either physically or emotionally, the healthy response for you is to mount an anger response. No, get out. Stay away. That's healthy. Healthy anger is in the moment. It protects your boundaries, and then it's gone. It's not necessary anymore. However, if your boundaries were infringed as a child, but you could not express it, it doesn't disappear. It gets suppressed. It becomes almost like a volcano that's gurgling and bubbling inside you, but it's had no expression. Now, why did you suppress it? Because if you're being, well, you've been very public about this, so I'm sure you'll allow me to mention it, but sometime after you and I talked, you actually publicly acknowledged that you'd been sexually abused as a child.
I did.
Now, when that's happening to a small child, the last thing you can afford is to be angry. Because if you get rageful at the boundary invasion, you're going to get hurt even more. So suppressing that rage becomes a survival mechanism. Nothing wrong with it. It's the right thing to do. You don't do it, your brain will do it for you automatically as a way of preserving your life or your relative safety. But the rage doesn't go away. What happens then later on as an adult, something triggers you, and all of a sudden it just explodes out of you, and you have no control over it. Now it's no longer a response, a healthy response to the present moment, but it's a response to the past. And just as my hurt and sense of abandonment and rage was triggered by my wife not picking me up at the airport, so a person's rage can be triggered by something relatively minor, but all of a sudden this lava flow just explodes out of you. And the difference between healthy anger, and by the way, suppressing healthy anger is also unhealthy for you. We can talk about that. But just as healthy anger expresses itself, does its job, and then it's gone, rage, the way, such as I'm describing, such as the way I used to experience it, and probably as you used to experience it, the more it explodes, the bigger it gets.
That's what happens to me.
You on mute.
You on mute, JR.
My bad. That's I want to get to some of the folks that haven't spoken in a while, just to kind of get them in the mix. Trev, Pink, Weeks, Rilla.
I mean, I kind of disagree with that. See, it's all about managing it, right? So you can put those feelings away, and a lot of times you'll get these feelings, right? Rage is just one of those things, and I think it is necessary in like what, fight or flight. There's different things. Sometimes you're just going to need it. But let's say you have things that happen to you. There's other ways. There's therapy. There's or just managing it, right? And if you can put that to the side, it doesn't necessarily have to explode. Fortunately for me, I've gotten to the point right now where definitely the little things don't bother me, and even sometimes the bigger things. I just think before I move. I think about what my next move is going to be, and before that, it's like, what are the consequences of this? What's going to happen? What's the direct effect of what it is that I do? And I base my decision off of that. So us as men, we're going to have these feelings, but it all depends on what action you take behind it. And I don't think that if you know how to manage your emotions in a healthy way, that eventually you're just going to explode, right? I've learned to deal with anger in more productive ways, or just not addressing it. Just, you know what, man, I ain't gonna let that bother me. I'm gonna just ignore that. I'm gonna just keep moving. I'm gonna just keep going. And I don't have any episodes where I feel like I need to explode, right? If it's a situation that I have to defend myself or something like that, okay, you'll summon that for the greater good. You're gonna get out of that situation. But just because somebody pissed me off, and people do things that I really don't like or get annoyed, but not to the point where I feel like I need to react. It doesn't mean that I'm going to tolerate disrespect or anything like that. It just means that I refuse to have an emotional response to anything. I feel it's important for us to consider everything that we're going to do and the consequences behind it.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. So I guess, yeah, you're doing this strategically, because he actually started to stand up to dude. And that's what I mean by giving that assault back. Like, you can't dominate with this false sense of masculinity, right? All the dudes had to do was stand on the square. And then the last part to me was comedy. Would y'all hang out with these dudes? I'd be like, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with them dudes. Now what's interesting about this, I'm gonna use terms that we use on YouTube all the time. A lot of people have a false understanding of this alpha beta thing that we're talking about. They think the rich bald dude is the alpha. He's fake. Nobody even knows how to classify him. He's probably a delta male that got rich. Start pulling all his cards and stuff. He doesn't communicate effectively. He cannot accept a challenge without, and he can't give a effective redirect to having his intellect challenged. So he couldn't be an alpha on any day. On any day, he couldn't be one. Now, the dudes that he's trying to go against, it's funny because I always tell men, those dudes run society. Without men that think like that, you wouldn't have men that show up to work every single day and do transportation jobs and fix the roads. And so if you take it upon yourself to disrespect the average working, God-fearing man, something's fucking wrong with you. That dude upholds society, like that man. Those type of men, like I do not have it in me to disrespect them because of my advanced position in life. That's why I said that dude was weak. If I was sitting on the dude's side, I don't want to sit on the other side. Because the funny thing is, as you're watching the face of the other panelists, they don't want to really go against the dude, the bald dude, but they don't agree with him either. And that last part was golden. Would y'all hang out with this dude? Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with them dudes. So I thought that was fun.
Hey, Darwin, your role model falling apart episode by episode. What's going on?
Damn.
No, he's not my role model.
He got cooked.
All you need to do is get some white pants. You good?
He's not my role model, but I can understand him. Just because he's out of line with the way he's arguing or whatever doesn't mean that he's not making good points. And I'm able to pause. I'm able to eat the meat.
He's all over the place. Respectfully,
the,
he's all over the place.
I get. I'm just telling you what I see. I don't see it the way everybody else see it. I get that.
I mean,
But hold on.
I don't think he's all over the place. I think the questions that they were asking was very loaded. When he asked him a question saying, why do you think just giving him a watch with me and Rich and giving him a watch is going to help him? He was trying to when you just answer a question like that, you got to first make sure that, hey, look, I don't agree with the context of what you're putting in the question saying that I'm just giving a man a watch and I'm actually doing him a favor. But I think he was trying to state that he was giving a man habits and a mindset so that he can go out and buy his own watch. But it was I can understand a lot of people wasn't able to catch that. And if you're biased, if you already
now you disrespecting us. You know
that's
that,
even worse.
Y'all go ahead.
You disrespecting us.
But Darwin, that's even worse because he's saying I'm giving a man a habit, but they're just saying like you teach a man how to fish, he eats for life, as opposed to fishing for him. What he did by giving them a watch is fishing for them. I'm putting the knowledge and the experience that I've had gone through in your head, so therefore you know how to navigate in these types of spaces, these types of situations, etc., etc. I'm giving you example in real life.
He cleared it up.
The watch is the end goal. That is the dangling carrot in front of you.
He cleared it up that he wasn't the guy. Like I said, he asked a loaded question. In order for me to answer that question, it means that something inside of me agrees that giving a man a watch is gonna a watch. It's gonna help him. That's why he cleared it up and said that he's giving him habits, a mindset, so that he can go out and earn and be able to afford to pay for whatever the hell it is that he desire.
Let me ask you a question.
And I wasn't. Go ahead.
When he got boxed in with reality and under adversity, he went to violence.
I don't agree that he got
the
boxed.
very thing he threatened. He said, "If we were, I would slap you." He said, "If we weren't here, you would talk to me differently." Rather than show. Wait. At the beginning of our talk, you said it was weak to indulge in such things. Did you not?
I said correct the context that I put it in. I said if you lose control of yourself, I think there's an important to maintain emotional.
Did he lose control of himself?
No, I don't think he lost control. I stated that earlier before. I said I believe if he looked at this interview and saw how he behaved, and he was to do it over again, he would say the same thing and would behave the same way. Yeah, I'm up under the understanding that there are people out here that just are like that, and because because we're not like that, we have a biased mindset about it, and we shoot it down when we see men who level themselves up and make themselves powerful, and they express it in a masculine way because we've been so. I'm trying to explain.
So let me ask this. Let me ask this then. Why do you think if that's not what you consider losing control, right? What do you consider? Does he have to actually lay hands on him before you consider that losing control? We all know this man was in prison. There's been signs that this man has lost control before.
Absolutely.
So he was a step away from losing control. Now, if it wasn't all them goddamn witnesses there, like he said, you wouldn't be talking to me. So he was ready to lose control. It was just unfortunate that there was a lot of people around to see him lose control, and that's probably not a good look for him again, especially when they got a lot of witnesses. Hold on, bro. Oh, did I? My bad. Go ahead, brother.
No, the fact that he didn't hit the man is enough evidence for me specifically, that he had control of himself.
The man said, if we were not here,
if they were in a private setting and they wasn't on cameras and stuff, he would have hit the dude.
Okay.
And the
other thing, having a disagreement of opinion.
Let me just say this one thing. And the other thing is true. The guy that was sitting in the chair mouthing off at the dude wouldn't have spoke to him like that. I see it all the time on panels. The guys get on the panels in these queues.
So
they say all
he
these
made jokes.
Go ahead.
KP, let me say something really quick. Let me say something just really quick to put this in like everyday life, right? So, Bruce, I hear you, brother. I think one part that y'all missed, and I hate that my stuff keeps going in and out. One thing I was gonna say to Trigger, because I think he went in on Poindexter again, right? and we trying to make it seem like Poindexter some type of goofy nerd that was just sitting there intimidated by this dude. Y'all might have missed when he said, "What you finna run down on a dude that's holding heat in Florida?" He said, "What you finna run down on me?" He knew what he had on him the whole time. Run over here, fuck around, and find out if you want to. You know that dude, Wes. You know the type of dude. Listen, man. You know that type of dude. That's the bullying motherfucking school that we see. Pushing motherfuckers around until he pushed the wrong one and get the shit beat out of him. That's what happens, bro. That dude wasn't in control. Him jumping up out of that chair was a form of intimidation. Him raising his voice, him not allowing the man to speak. That brother wasn't in control. And I get it. We can have a difference of opinion. The reason why I'm on charge is because I recognize that behavior. These shorties deal with that type of dudes. And Viz, you know from being up here. You know what I mean? Them the bullies that we see in these schools terrorizing these kids till they fuck around and find out. Yeah, that dude wasn't in control of shit. And the message that he kicking is dangerous. And they have a young audience looking at him behave that way. And he was mad because he couldn't roast dude. He couldn't roast either one of them and got more frustrated. He was, if the two hosts, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, wasn't sitting in the middle, that's what kept it from escalating. Right? But make no mistake, that character that we see in that dude and what he was displaying is very familiar. And that dude was 2 steps away from fucking around and finding out with a bullet in his ass. That's what was going to happen. Because Poindexter definitely was holding heat. And he would have been straight in Florida. I'm on mute.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it, and there's a pillow to punch instead. Better to punch the pillow.
Right.
No question about that. But as a technique of dealing with it, no, that's not how you learn to process that rage, because it needs to be processed.
How do you approach the processing? What is a more effective prescription or one possible way of thinking about it or approaching it?
Well, if I was working with you, I would encourage you to fully experience the body experience of rage. What's happening in your body? And you'll find that it's not just an idea in your head. It's something that dominates your visceral experience of yourself. Your muscles, your breathing, your abdomen, your entire nervous system. And there's ways of just helping you experience it.
Experience it by recognizing, raising the awareness of
being with it. Now, there's a wonderful Buddhist lineage spiritual teacher, meditation teacher called Tara Brach, who talks about rain: recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So you recognize, oh yeah, this is happening to me right now. Okay, I'm going to allow it. Not allowing it in the sense of I'm going to act it out on somebody else, but I'm going to be with the experience. And then investigate, okay, what is this really all about? And then nurture that little person that had to suppress all that rage. It's a nutshell view of it. But in other words, there's ways of working with it through the body that doesn't involve either suppressing it or acting it out, but in experiencing it.
Damn.
Hey, Bruce, you could tap out now.
This is what we call spiral.
You could tap out now. If I ever see a poster up in your room of that dude.
Why would I tap out? I think the clips are now beyond
the
point where.
Are you serious?
I think
the man.
Are we gonna have? Okay. Hold on. First of all, are we gonna mimic what those guys are doing? Because I can roast. Or are we gonna have a conversation?
Man, you can't roast. Not with me.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, Jay. I mean, if that's
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, Day. I want to have a civil. I want to have civil discourse. And why
what I was gonna say is,
Hey, God, I wasn't sure if I heard that or not.
The clips are at a point where whatever we're trying to contextualize or respond to is not really at this point where they at in this interview is not going to really get nowhere. I don't even know I don't know what we're supposed to say after that clip. Like,
Darwin,
I think right
you
now
gave credence.
I think everybody can agree that the conversation is completely exhausted and derailed. Like, there's no
Speak
basic
for yourself.
understanding. There's no
I
direction where
like
they're
it.
going with the conversation at this point.
I like that conversation. You know why? It shows how much of a fraud he is. In times of adversity, he's supposed to be a life coach, but he can't keep it together. He doesn't know how to de-escalate. He called that man the F word twice and still goaded on like he wanted action. Rather than show me that he is a higher thinker, moved on a higher level, knew how to level out the room. We agree to disagree, but here are my points. I'm standing on them. You may not agree, but let me give you my POV rather than calling you a F word twice and threatening to put harm your way. That's a man that's supposed to be teaching people. You agreed at the beginning because I'm going off of what you said, Darwin. That behavior is a sign of weakness. You said that out your own mouth. I just want you to just be introspective. It got worse. And it got worse badly with every clip that JR showed. And you stood on that hill getting hit by tomatoes.
I must still stand on the hit, and you can throw whatever you want. I gave context on what I thought.
Yeah, wait.
I gave context, but every time I try to speak, you cut me off.
How?
What do you mean how? The fuck? You cut me off. You speak and you interrupting when I'm talking. That's how.
You cursing at me? I thought you was a biblical man.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, what would Jesus do right now?
Oh, we're gonna have a
Let me pull Day out.
I think it's offensive to say.
Stall him out, man. God damn.
Okay, Marcus, we got Marcus in the house. We gotta get Marcus input on that too. Hey, Marcus, you there?
No, he was it.
Yeah. I'm driving. So can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me? What's the question?
Nigga, keep driving. God damn it.
That's
I got input on the video, but I thought you had a specific question. I'm listening.
No, we talked about the video. So we've been really talking about just breaking down the video.
So from the portion that I seen in the video, I think that the guy who was mad that he couldn't bully the other guy is at a very low vibrational way of thinking, and he's seeking external validation, and when he can't get it, he's throwing a fit, and that's typically how you end up in jail. So he lacked the emotional control and self-regulation and self-validation to say, you know what, you got it, and get himself out of that situation. But his ego and pride was pushing him to fight further and further into that hole and escalate it further and further, pretty much playing chicken. And when you play chicken with your life like that, a lot of times you end up either dying or going to jail for life. You can't consistently play chicken with everybody because some people ain't playing. And the results ain't always going to turn out in your favor. But through self-actualization, he could see like some things just not worth it. Okay, we like they said, we can have a difference of opinion. This is my thought. I said what I think, and then if you get it, don't get it, understand it, don't understand it, we can move on. But a lot of people need their internal validation to come from external sources, and that's why he harped on the materialistic success. I think it's interesting when he said, "You must come from money," because typically guys who come from money don't care about money. I think that's indicative of the sense of lack that he felt growing up, and he needed to prove it. It's like when you've been broke before, you want to make sure everybody know you got it. But if you've had the things that people would ascribe to being extremely valuable from a materialistic standpoint, if you had them long enough, they just become things and they don't matter to you anymore. And that's typically from people who've either been wealthy for a long time or purchased the things they want or found self-validation. So I think the guy was lacking self-validation. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I agree with everything Marcus said.
the guy just responded. He got upset with the man because the man valued his family over materialistic shit, and the guy felt some type of way because he said that. Yeah, like you said, somebody said earlier, that's dangerous. That photo lets me know his priorities are not in order. And so I couldn't imagine what he's teaching his kids, let alone if he has sons. What are you teaching your sons when you act and respond like that? Is that how you supposed to respond and act? Is that the message you putting out there? Somebody goes against what you say. The first thing is to be ready to knuckle up, go from the shoulders. Is that what we teaching our young boys? No. Now I expect a man who came up in a single parent home with his mama who didn't have the dad around. I expect him to act like that because he's acting like a woman, strictly off emotions. Don't have no type of self-control at all because he's moving off his emotions on a regular basis. A man didn't teach him how to handle himself. Take a deep breath, calm down, get your shit together. That wasn't what it was taught. Instead, just the opposite. He watched his mama fly off the handle after every little thing. The mailman was late with her goddamn first of the month check, and now she's cussing the whole post office out. Come on, man. Dudes like that are dangerous. I can't agree with you, Darwin, saying that man didn't lose control. Yeah, he lost control. He got up, he walked over towards the man. I mean, he threatened the man multiple times. It wasn't one time. Then he got into an altercation with another man who was agreeing with the guy beside him, who was also making his family priority and talking about his wife and kids and all of that. Money's not that big of a deal. Then he said, well, you must come from money. So now you speaking because you came up less fortunate. Now you mad and jealous of this man who's blessed and maybe he did come from money. So you feeling some type of way. No, some people just don't make money always a priority all the time. They feel like there's more important things than just money in life. And that's family. That's way more important than a piece of paper. Just my opinion.
God, do you guys realize when you come to my page to comment, I own you. None of my people go to anybody else's pages. We're just on this page crushing it, and our page is blowing our shit up. We don't go DM anyone, comment on anyone's shit. We don't go negative comment places. When you come to my page and take your time, I'm running you. I own the real estate in your mind. It's sad, but I get it. All you guys are the skinny 10-inch arm having titty little fucks like that stupid fuck on stage. None of you guys will ever get me to apologize. What would I apologize for? Being on your guys' side, censoring a bunch of beta bitches? You guys are trying to censor a real motherfucker. It ain't gonna happen. You want all men to walk around with tits like that, bags of trash like that, pussies like that. You fucking idiots. You guys are part of the problem. Bunch of liberal fucks, straight up. Ain't no real motherfucker doesn't want to be a swole-ass man walking around all jacked. But guess what? The people I talk to, those are the 1% or less. The people who actually get up and handle it. While pussies are sitting there drinking and smoking with tits. Pizza all smashed up on their titties. Go ahead and run the comments up. Run them the fuck up. I'll be here like every hater that tried to hate on me before. I always last. And you guys are still broke fucks. All my loyal people, we all rise. We all just get in better shape. We all just change our lives. And the worst part about this is those comments are all bots. There's very few real people. And the few people that tried to call me out, don't those dudes have tits too? Why doesn't anyone ever pull up? I go to Elevation Gym at 5 a.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. on weekends. Just pull up. Just fucking do it and quit talking in the comments. I don't go in no comments and talk shit. I don't even go to anyone's page and say I'm gonna fucking do all this shit. But that's the whole point. I ain't a fucking bitch who just goes in comments and DMs and talks. I actually went to prison for actually doing shit. Every one of you guys will try to unmake what a real motherfucker does. And all my people who are changing your lives, realize the fake ass bitches you grew up with and the pussies around you that don't elevate to your level, still got tits, still broke, still living a fucking stupid ass life, they're just gonna hate on you. But it's all good, because guess what? My houses just get bigger, my cars just get better, my audience just gets bigger, it's not shrinking. For every million losers that fucking come talk shit or view my shit, I get probably 3,000 or 4,000.
All right, you gotta let me.
Kenny, you got tits, Kenny?
Yo, okay. Listen, this is like an epiphany for me, man.
When you
Because
my
this-
age, you
Dog.
wish you looked this good.
Nah,
dog,
I
this is
told
like
you.
an
I told
epiphany.
you. If he saw that clip, he would behave the same.
Any
Listen,
gym,
makes-
any
That makes my
anytime.
point. That makes
You
my
like-
point that the man did not lose control. He was.
Let me quote somebody real quick, because damn, what's his name? Mr. Rich, Marriage, Politics, and Sports, said toxic masculinity is only toxic when women wield it. And I made the statement on my show once that I don't like women calling themselves masculine because they always behave like the biggest assholes. They never take masculinity and act like a good man. They always act like an asshole. They act like that dude when they're doing it. So this is interesting. This is what I picked up from that rant. Ad hominem attacks, need for external validation, inability to accept criticism, and inability to apologize. What does that sound like to y'all? Those characteristics.
Bruiser.
That
God
dude is a woman. Like, oh shit. He is feminine. And it's crazy that he was sharing a stage with like masculinity coaches. But that's crazy. This hyper masculine grifting thing that people are doing, using YouTube and conferences. Yo, some of these dudes,
is hyper masculinity feminine though?
No. I'm
Is
talking about.
hypermasculinity a feminine trait?
I'm not even talking about it I said it's fake. It's fake hypermasculinity. Because when you are put to the test, he failed. All of the layers came down. He started exhibiting the most feminine behaviors we've ever seen. He did not want to apologize. He started overexerting himself and thought aggression was the only way to fix the problem. He needs the validation from his own supporters. My people love me. He was like literally firing off every objective of a narcissist and some of the toxic traits that we have for some of the toxic criticisms that we have for when women try to wield masculinity. They do it in a very toxic way, behaving like the worst assholes of men. They never behave like good men when they want to wield masculinity.
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna
I
have
always
to
ask myself,
side with
where
Darwin.
do women get this toxic masculinity? Where do women get this notion to attack men for being men, for expressing masculinity? And I'm starting to see it comes from men. They're getting the talking points from us. When we see a man act like a man, level up like a man, and tell other men you need to fucking level up, we shoot it down. Me personally, I agree with the dude. I think the dude is an awesome dude. I think his content is fire. I think he's a fucking savage. And I think we need more men. Like, y'all can call it dangerous. I think it's dangerous to have all these soft ass beta male guys around here, like he stated, running around here saying, oh, you can just be a yeah, you can be a family guy. But if you want to be rich, then that's what you want to be. And ain't nothing wrong with telling motherfuckers what they want. Hey, the things that you desire and the things that you aspire to do, it's totally fine. I've done it. Let me show you the way. And I think the reason why, hold on. I think the reason why I'm able to receive what he's saying in a way and let it resonate with me, because I was in the military. And I had people in the military that would act just like him. But when I was able to take his leadership, take the content that he was giving me and apply it without having to pick up his characteristics or the way he behaved. But so when I became a sergeant, I didn't act like the sergeants before me. I act like me, but I had the rank, I had the leadership, I had the skills.
So Let me tell
Yeah,
you something.
let me say this real quick because I haven't been able to say nothing. I agree with everyone, but at the same time, I think I think he would fuck around and be cool as hell if you actually meet him. You know, I think that he's speaking to his target demographic, just like Darwin said. Everybody isn't going to take what it is that he's saying and be able to to truly utilize it. Everything that he's saying, in my opinion, he's keeping it a buck. He's being himself. I don't think what he's doing is necessarily feminine. Did he crash on the stage? Somewhat, to an extent, but that's probably just how he interact with people. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I learned is that everybody doesn't understand a certain way of speaking to them. You can't speak to everyone the same type of way. You have to know who it is that you're talking to in order to get your point across. So I think that I understand what he's doing, what he's saying. It's the extreme, but I think that what his message is at the end of the day, it has relevancy. If he gave a man a watch, I think that the person that he gives that watch to, that can potentially motivate him to become a better man, or what he deems as a man, to make that watch feel or fit his characteristics of who it is that he wants to be. So I get it, but it's the same way. It's the same way of trying to say. It's the same way of trying to tell that man. It's the same way of trying to tell West to be like Gandhi. You know what I'm saying? That's not who he is, right? So if that's not who he is, then you got to speak to who it is that person is. So I get all of it, but I think that he's just playing his role at the end of the day.
No, facts. He's playing a role, but in the terms that Bruiser put it in, Darwin. They calling you. You go by Darwin now.
You call it whatever you want.
All right.
Bruiser just my
man.
Bruiser. I just got my real name up here.
He brought up the military, and that was the part where I was like, okay, bet that dude is gonna have a hard time getting anybody to buy in to his leadership. All right, he has some people that follow him, the asshole type, but that's the mark of a true leader. If the only way you can accomplish your followership is through harsh criticism, then you're not a real leader. You're a dictator. The people gonna rise up against you.
Does he got to follow him? Does he got to follow him?
No. But listen to what I'm saying. If the hold on.
Even Kevin Samuels had a following.
This is what I'm saying. I'm using his character flaws against him. He used the term beta, which means he thinks he's an alpha. He's not. He broke his own argument up, because if you want to achieve buy-in from your followers, if you're really trying to help these other men, and the first thing you showed when you got disagreed with was that you have to try to dominate them aggressively with violence, then you're not an alpha. He's exactly not what he's saying he's supposed to be. The best leaders achieve that through buy-in. I want to follow you. You are inspiration to me. The way you talk to me, the way you motivate me. David Goggins is that type. Get up and do it. You can do it. Hey, follow me, man. If you don't look the way you're supposed to look, I can help you with that. I can be your crutch, bro. I know you a little fat now, but I can do it for you. That nigga's an asshole. I ain't following that dude.
So you don't think David Goggins is? You don't think you know who David Goggins is? Let's just assume you know. Assume you know who David Goggins is. Why the hell did my leadership got to mimic that man's leadership? What if I want it to be the way I want it to be? What if I want to express my leadership the way I want to do it, and not no other man?
Indeed. But isn't the goal of expressing that is to get buy-in from other people?
The goal, I would say,
is it healthy? Is it healthy for him to directly criticize the people he's trying to help?
What are the outcomes of the way of his style, his leadership style?
Nothing. He's not a creator. He don't have any content. He don't have a file. He said something about the comment section. So I never looked him up,
but I assume he has a tribe, what they call.
Yeah,
So
you gotta have
Yeah,
Darwin,
but that's not a good metric. That's not a good metric.
I looked
We
into
also
some.
have people who had a following who
I'm just
said
trying to establish understanding.
that
Do he have a
that
following?
that doesn't
Yeah,
mean anything, because we have people who are females who say delete black boys, right? They have followings. These people who are straight up misandrists, who you would absolutely disagree with, have a flock of people who follow them. That's not a good metric to go on.
I'm not
I think
asking
the only reason
you.
why
I'm
the
not
dude got
asking you, do he have a following that I agree with? I'm
Let
just
him
simply
get his
asking
point
you, does he
across.
It
have a
don't matter.
following?
Yeah, he has a following.
Yes,
He was on
yes.
a panel with Fresh and Fit. Of course he has a following.
Okay, so but
You
see, the
gotta know
thing
about
is,
the-
we're trying to intersect his following with what we agree with. I'm just simply actually do he got a following. I don't give a damn
Yes,
what
he has
type
a
of content he
following.
make.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
but
Use this to
acceptable to
even
anyone?
with
validate
that,
your
right?
point.
When you have a following, you're supposed to be responsible with it. And right now,
So
dude is sitting there.
made that rule?
Hold up,
Who
hold
made that
up, hold
rule
up,
when you
hold
have a
up, hold
following,
up,
you're
hold up,
supposed to
hold
be
up, hold up.
responsible with it? Maybe this man don't.
That's
Did
a
y'all
gen- that's-
did y'all stop to think for a
It
second
doesn't
that
matter.
this man don't adhere
Hold
to
on
the
a
same
second,
rules
bro.
we adhere
Hold on
to?
a second, bro. Hold on a second, bro. Hold on a second. So what I'm saying is, you got the dude have people following him, right? And he's literally glorifying going to jail for doing stupid stuff. He literally just glorified that, and telling people to pull up is just childish as hell. Who the hell does, what grown ass man is pull up, pull up, pull up? What type of shit is that, bro? He's a grown ass man telling people to pull up. What are we doing? Why would you put yourself in that kind of a situation and bait people into pulling you up, giving your address where you're going to be? What good is going to come out of that? This is not a man who seems to be rational. This isn't somebody who should even have people following him if he's doing stupid shit like that. The only reason I think he got mad at the dudes is because they short stopping his bread, because all of this shit is a grifting money grab. Most of these courses and this shit that people be doing is behind a paywall. He has an agenda to push. I don't think he give a damn, for real, for real.
It's
That's
one
just my
thing.
opinion.
It's one thing to say pull up. Then there's another thing to tell your viewers to tell people to pull up if you got differences with them. It's the same thing we would say. Do it at your own peril. If you can handle it, if you can afford it, then you your own man. Do what you do. If a
But
man
you said
say he
you
gonna,
agree with
Would
his
you tell
point.
somebody to pull up to where
hold
you
on, let me finish.
at?
I just waited till you finish. It's the same shit we tell men who want to date single moms. We can sit here and say it's stupid, but the man who's doing it don't feel like it's stupid. He
You're
does it at
moving
his
the
own peril.
goalpost.
He does it at his
Yeah,
own
that's
peril.
completely
That's what
different.
he want to do.
That's
So
That's what the
completely
fuck
different.
he want
Darwin,
to do. If
so
he told me, hey, you should go date a single mom, that's totally different.
You're
But if
moving
that
the
man
goalpost.
It is
decides
totally
that's how he
different. We're
wanna-
not talking about
that-
he
endangering
literally
that man
yourself and
decide
other
that's how he
people.
want to express his content, then that's his
right.
fucking balls. He got to hang by his own balls. He's
So
got to
And a
Darwin,
single
here's the
mom ain't
thing.
gonna land you in jail, bro. And it's not gonna
But
land
that's
you in the
gonna
grave
land
neither.
him in jail. It's gonna land him in jail,
Y'all hear-
not me.
Or somebody else, or people who's at the gym with them.
Yeah, like I think Marcus trying to say something too. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, every man can choose his destiny and determine how he want to live his life. Granted, I don't think anybody on the panel is against people working out, getting money, and making themselves stronger. Your argument or your comments about him wanting to live his life that way, and we shouldn't tell him how he should live his life, right? Well, if you look on his content page, the majority of it is him glorifying going to prison. Not just it's the cornerstone in what he's deeming is why he's masculine, because he's been to prison, right? Then the other thing is the real question is, why did he need those other men to agree with him about their life? He was offended at their choice.
No, he wasn't offended of their choice, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think Hank said the moment the guy said family is more valuable or family is what success means. If we could play that second clip back, that is not what offended him. What offended him is when the man said being rich is not successful. He pretty much denounced everything that he said. When he said family and stuff, the guy didn't interrupt then. The guy only interrupt to ask the man, was he rich? Have you had this experience before? So how
Can we
can you
play it
tell?
back?
How can
No,
you tell?
that's what happened, Marcus. That's what happened.
How the only thing that the only way when it went sideways is when that guy said he pretty much shut down everything he said. because he was the first one who spoke. He said, no, man, fuck all that. Being rich and having a phantom and doing whatever you want and having this fame and being successful, being cut and ripped, that ain't shit. That ain't success.
No, you churching it up right now.
No, that's what happened. It wasn't he didn't interrupt until he said that. So now he's gonna sit here like, how the fuck you gonna tell me where are your results? What are your outcomes? That's why he said it politely starting off. He said, excuse me, are you, do you have money?
Does that matter?
Escalated.
Does that matter?
But when you look at it from a biased mindset, you can't see that shit. Play the clip back.
Wait, so Darwin, I agree, right? I agree that the conversation when my bad, KP, because I feel like I've been stepping on your toes all night. My bad, bro. You're right. When they had the conversation, number one, Poindexter, I don't know the brother's name, so please forgive me. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But Poindexter was the one that was talking, bro. And whether you felt like he took a shot at the man or whatever, all he said was, hey, materialism isn't the end all be all. That's the basic point that he was saying. Then bro cut in and started asking all the other questions and escalated the situation and got more offended, right? I don't think that brother was in control.
He said having money and having material, I think he said having money, being rich, he had a little.
Said nothing about Rip. I don't remember him saying nothing about Rip, but my point being is he didn't call him out by name. But that's what I'm saying, though, Bruiser. He disagreed with him. He said, "Here's my counterpoint to that." Right? He didn't call him out by name. He didn't use ad hominems. He simply said what you just heard. Now I'm paraphrasing. What you just heard. Here's the antithesis to that. Here's what I value and what I define as success. Family is what makes you successful. Raising a family, raising kids, waking up, teaching your son to pray. You don't know nothing about that, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? That's what he was talking about.
He also talked about adding value to society.
He did say
what
that.
are you contributing to society?
I heard all of those things.
So then what is the point of contention?
Basically, what y'all saying is okay to say, hey, these are the things that I feel make a man successful.
Yeah,
right.
That's his POV.
And then when you say, hold up, things he said don't make you successful. Don't listen.
That's not the argument from us, brother. Well, the argument
that's what I'm saying.
Contention. No. The point of contention is not.
But that's the point I was trying to make. The point the guy was trying to make is saying, if you're gonna tell me something is not the best fit or this outcome is not the best, it's not in your best interest, and when you haven't gotten there, you're pretty much disrespecting a man who worked hard to get there.
No, he didn't. He told him how he lived, his views, his tenets, how he saw life. He said, my life, I see it different than yours. That is not dissing somebody if you show them a different POV of how I live my life. That goes back to your ranking of men. Everybody has to run their race in a different way. He says, my family is my riches.
What do you do?
My family is my wealth. I could have $5 in my pocket. Just as long as I know my family is fed, they got a roof over their head, they got some place to sleep.
What do you do?
Then you're okay, you're not even wanting it to even consume it. You just so ready to shoot back.
What do you do for a living?
What do I do?
Yeah.
That's
I'm a phone tech. And I have financial licenses. What's that have to do with?
What did you say the first thing was?
I am I'm a fiber optics technician for a big firm, and I have financial licenses. What does it have to do with what I?
Okay, so that phone, that whatever that thing, the first career, that's a good career for a person to go into, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what if I said, hey, that career is horrible. It's not a good career. You shouldn't do that, or that's not the way to go. You should become a computer scientist.
I would tell you don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. My point.
No, I wouldn't say you got money.
You would tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. I'm gonna do exactly what he did.
I never picked that career.
We're not gonna move the goalpost
about it.
So
now you gotta ask me
to respond like Wes would be like, yo, you got bank like me? That would be the response that would mirror exactly what he did. We're not gonna do that, Darwin. The man tried to big boy him with money rather than respect the man's values. Okay, I'm rich. Wes is rich. Fine. That man says my value is in my family.
Okay.
You
You know what?
rich.
I'm gonna
Why does it
entertain you.
matter? Hold
I'm
on.
gonna entertain you. Hold on. I'm gonna entertain you. You're right. He tried to big boy him with money. What is the opposite to that?
What is the opposite to what?
What is okay? What is the opposite of that? What if the man was broke? What if the man was the broke man? What doing
You
to a
just
guy that's
saw it.
rich?
Wait. To answer your
What is
question,
the opposite?
to answer your question, you just saw it. A man that put value in his family over materialistic things.
So the other guy on the opposite end is not saying, it's not trying to make him feel guilty or make him feel terrible or bad to be rich.
No,
No, I don't think so.
no.
But that comes in where he threw in those two discs though. That's what I
It's
hear. If it was
the
just
biblical.
I
What's
think
the
he laid
disc?
he laid a foundation for his belief system.
I think that
Exactly.
if we're just having a conversation, and this is me just playing neutral. I hear both sides, but if we're just having a conversation, starting it off with dropping a scripture about losing your soul over wealth, and then what was the second one that he said, Darwin? I forgot what it was.
He dropped the scripture and he said it's not
It's not
Inherently
everything that come with that.
unchristian like to have
But
money. It's just
he didn't
singular in a thought
no,
process.
that wasn't it.
and he didn't he
Yeah,
didn't
no,
start
it was
he
something
didn't
else.
start that. That was in response to the dude glorifying
He
money
said that's not the
and question
point.
him, do you have money?
He said
Do
being
you
rich,
have
wealthy,
money? Do you have
and
money?
having everything is everything
He
you want.
said that's
Material. It's
besides
not.
the point. So again, this is where I think context clues and reading comprehension or listening comprehension comes into play, right? Am I breaking up?
No, you
No,
good.
you crystal clear. Get to it.
Okay, my bad. My point is, family, he was talking about family values. And in the context of him going back to wealth, he was saying, besides the wealth is besides the point. When you're focusing on purpose and what really matters, and what really matters for him is family values. If I'm a Christian and I come up and I'm speaking to somebody that's wealthy or speaking, I don't know, scripture against wealth, I just don't see how that's a diss. There's
Because he
scriptures
was
that
telling the
record.
because he addressed the audience. He said it's okay to have money. It's okay to have wealth. It's okay to have these material things, young men and young gentlemen and young
He
viewers
didn't
listening.
use that
Yeah,
tone of
he's
condescension.
trying to be polarizing.
It wasn't condescending.
Beside the point. But that's beside the point.
No, he said something about being singularly focused to attain all these resources. That's beside the point. Did he not? I mean, listen, we're gonna disagree because I'm really trying to pick. I get what you're saying. I'm really trying to get why Vince see this as a diss. Because that's the part I'm not understanding.
I feel like him acknowledging it, you know what I'm saying? Him acknowledging it in the way that he delivered it, it was low-key a diss. I hear what y'all saying, but to me, from a neutral perspective, it sounds like dude was low-key dissing him.
You ain't neutral. I want to know how much that cash app was.
Can I ask you a question? Is it masculine to be hyper reactive over other people's opinions?
He wanted smoke, bro.
So what I've been saying from the gate of the first video is that how dude is reacting is how he talks. That's how he communicates. So he didn't this other guy, Poindexter, whatever, he doesn't communicate the same way that Wes does. You know what I'm saying? So now there's the clash. So it's easy for Poindexter to feel some type of way about what Wes was saying and then make his statement, So I hear both sides. I think that he just low-key took a jab at him.
Yeah, but hold on. Like the entire evening, JR has been playing a series of different videos. One in the beginning when he asked the questions, right? Everybody got a round of responses, and then he presented the next video, and then the next video. He did it in segments and series. He did it strategically that way, right?
Yeah.
To make sure and pay attention that everybody's line of thinking and their response is coherent across the board. And unfortunately, that really hasn't happened. It's been kind of twist and bend, and people give a little bit of leeway because, well, what he said and what they presented wasn't the same thing. Look, it comes back down to how you posture yourself. We talked about anger. We talked about how, you know, men present themselves, especially when they're confronted with someone of the opposite. If someone has a different of opinion, regardless of what it is, whether it's a belief system or whatnot, right? You trying to emasculate the other man because he doesn't have the same value system as you or the same opinion as you, that's rather weak. You know what I'm saying? We could agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
I
right.
understand, hey, you know what I'm saying? I value this. If that man came out and says, hey, I value material things, but I understand what you're talking about when you're talking about valuing, having a sense of family, valuing
What did we
having,
just do on
you
this
know what I'm saying?
panel for an hour?
You just
We
drunk the
haven't li-
juice.
What did we just do?
You follow Jim Jones. That's what we did for an hour.
Every time I was able to point out something that I thought was cool or thought or agree with, y'all challenged me on my point.
You know why,
Yeah,
Day-Day?
then we're gonna
get
say
challenged down there every weekend on my point.
Wait. Day-Day. I'm sorry, Darwin. Lewis just gave you step by step how that man's credibility just got chopped in halves every time he posted a video, and how that man misspoke what he said he was and showed you different sides and how he dealt within adversity. The man did not diss him. It was no double entendre or nothing, poet. But you don't pick up books no way. So we're gonna leave that for another episode. So this episode right here, the man
you said I
gave
don't
his
pick up books?
values, his tenets, his doctrine on how he saw his life. The man challenged him because he had nowhere else to go. So he did the money talk. How much money you got?
Wait, what you talking about, boats?
How much money you got? Hold on. Don't beat me up yet. I ain't gonna kick in your back yet. Hold on, slow down. So
what?
He challenged him. He had nowhere to go.
What?
He had nowhere to go.
What?
He had nowhere to go. So he said, how much money do you have? Your 10-inch arm. You have tits. Called him the F word twice. Threatened to slap him. Threatened to, if you weren't here. That's a life coach? That's someone that's, listen, if I'm rich, I don't care what you say to me.
Have you ever had a life? Have you ever had a life coach?
Have I had a life coach? Yeah.
So he didn't act like that life coach?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, so
I got tough words.
Hold on, real quick.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying.
You asked me a question. Let me finish.
I let you talk.
Wait. You asked me a question. I did not finish.
But I only
asked me a question. I did not finish.
I didn't ask you to elaborate. I just
wait. So you gonna ask me a question and I can't elaborate?
No, I'm making a point. Can you just let me finish?
Wait. You asked me a question. Don't even tell me I can't elaborate and answer.
Think of it as a rhetorical question.
I'm gonna try it again. Well, I don't do rhetoricals. You asked me a question.
Just mute.
So you asked me a question and you do not want me to elaborate.
Because I finished when you were talking. I mean,
you asked me a question. I didn't answer.
Okay, answer the question, man.
Okay, I did. I got stern words.
Oh, so now you did answer the question. God damn.
No. Yo, you know everybody laughing at you, not with you.
Don't matter. They laugh.
You realize that? You need to go cut that grass.
Kenny,
you gonna answer the question or you gonna let me finish my point?
Kenny, I think he
That's
pointed
all
out
you
a good
wanted
point,
to do.
Though.
Go ahead, grandstand.
I think he
Come on, Eddie Kane,
started
get to me.
over for you because I think you drifted off somewhere.
Come on, Eddie Kane, get to me.
Okay, well then finish where you were started.
I feel like going on.
I'm trying not to be a troll.
So I can answer your question.
Be a troll on Tuesdays, but I'm trying not to do that. I'm just trying to actually have a conversation.
You can do whatever you like. You know what? I'm fine.
No, because if I troll there now, y'all wouldn't know where the hell my mind is at. But what I'm saying, my point was,
you know what bugs me out about you?
My point
You're a family man. You got a nuclear family, but you got thin skin.
My point was, okay, so now you want to attack me. Okay, go ahead.
Am I attacking you? Oh, you doing the same thing as Wes.
I never attacked.
How much money you got? You got tits? You gonna ask me
You
that
must
again
feel
because
some
you did
type of
ask
way.
me
You
that
must feel
earlier.
some type of way about my
Did
position.
you ask me that
But
earlier?
that's fine. That's fine. A lot of people that weren't able to make it to where I am feel the same. But let's move. Let's try to
Wait,
move
so they
forward.
got grudge you?
Let's try to move forward for the sake of the audience. The point I was making, you said that I asked you, have you ever had a life coach? You said, yeah. I said, was your life coach like this life coach? You said, hell no. And I said, well, that just tells you that everybody is not the same. Just because they have the title of life coach, that don't mean they have to behave and have characteristics or principles and standards.
I
That's
agree with
across the
that.
board.
I agree with that.
So why do we have we got to understand the society we live in. We want everybody to be balanced and equal. And when we see somebody stand out and be different, we want to push them back into their hole. No, fuck that. If that's who you are as a person, unleash it. We've been doing this shit to men. Hold on before you cry. We've been doing this shit. They've been doing this shit from men to men.
Viz, you would laugh.
For decades.
I'm gonna send you that Dr.
And we
Seuss
can't
book.
be men. These are when his you gotta understand when men are able to freely act how they are and express their masculinity. This is the type of men you get. These are the guys who went out and fought in World War I and World War II and shit. We suppressed that long ago because society didn't know how to handle that. Men are becoming too powerful. You got to do something about it. So now when we see men that say, fuck that, I'm going to go against the grain. This is how I feel. This is the things I want to say. I'm going to go get to the top, less than 1%. And I'm going to show you how because I've done these things, this is who I am. I'm going to express that.
The irony of that statement, Jarwin.
It's not okay with you because you're not familiar with it. It's not okay with you. You want to shoot it down. Just accept that.
I'm not familiar.
Just accept that. Just accept that you gotta see how you compare yourself.
I'm not familiar.
He'll outrank you in life. He's of a higher rank than you.
How do you know that?
The irony of that statement was
because you sitting here with me, Kenny.
The
you
irony
sitting
of that,
here crying to me.
The irony
I'm
of
crying?
the irony of that statement was the dude was the dissenting opinion. So the person who said the materialism wasn't the thing was the one standing against the grain. If the other men seemed to be in agreement with him.
Okay, so Darwin, let me ask you a question. If you invited a couple of us and that gentleman to your house, right? You're cooking a barbecue, you know,
so are you saying
blanket, whatever. Just to hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Give me a chance. Give me a chance, Darwin. Oh, wait. Memorial Day passed. Thank you for your service. All right. So olive branch out the way. There we go. So if that man was in your house first time and he conducted himself the way he did on Fresh and Fit, would you allow him back in your house?
And he conducted himself
the way he did on Fresh and Fit from what we saw tonight, would you allow him back in your house?
Probably. If I had a men's panel, if I had a men,
I'm done.
No, KP, I think he would. I think he being honest on that one. He would.
If I had a men's panel and I had brothers on his side and I had Kenny over here side crying about family and money ain't everything, and this guy telling you like, have you ever had money? And all these things, and y'all went at it. I mean, that's fuck it. That's y'all thing. Talk about it. That's why we're here to talk about it.
Okay, he's in your house and he's threatening to do harm to people in front of everybody. He's calling me the F words. Since you want to use me, I'll be the heel. I'll be the heel.
I would probably do what the guy. I would probably do what the moderators were doing.
He's gonna slap me up outside. All this good stuff.
Probably do what the moderators are doing, but because we're not in a open environment, I would take a step forward and say, Kenny, you shut your ass up or he gonna beat your ass.
Oh, in your house? Wait. So a man can act up in your house.
Hold on, let me say the last part. Now, Kenny, I told you to shut the fuck up. If you keep talking shit and he beat your ass, I ain't doing nothing about it.
Okay, wait.
We go to the third part. Hold on, this is the final part.
I know
this
you
is the final part. This is the final part. Now, Kenny, you don't whoop your ass. You got all bloody. Get the hell on out of my house. Go home and clean yourself up.
Wait. So I'm in your house. So I don't even get the provision of you pump faking and pulling that thing out and tell him don't do that in here.
I already pump fake. I warned you.
You did it on a dude in a tool shed.
You to pump fake.
You ain't gonna do that for me.
You want to keep shooting air balls.
You ain't gonna do that
getting
for
your
me?
ass ejected.
Wait. You ain't gonna up that thing and pump fake for me.
That's fair play.
You know me better than
Pause,
to
bro.
do in the
Pause.
tool shed.
I don't even know what you're talking about now. Pause.
Wait, you pull the thing on the dude in the tool shed?
Hey,
I ain't
yo.
had no bullets in it.
Pause, yo.
Hey, pause, bro. Stop, yo.
Pause, dog.
Stop.
You already got a ring on your
Yo.
on your shirt. Pause, bro.
Fellas, am I wrong?
Yo.
Hell yeah, you wrong,
Yes.
nigga. Pause.
Man, you dead, bro.
Pause.
Show that
Hold
man.
on,
Down there between your
hold
legs.
on, kid. So you saying Don wasn't gonna keep it in the closet? He gonna keep it in the shed, huh?
Exactly. Hey, Darwin, all jokes aside, you see that guy on that stage as big as he was? I would whip his ass because I know how to box.
What, Mortal Kombat?
And I ain't forget. So you make a false assumption about me. I'm very jokey, but it'll take a lot to whip me out.
Pause, yo. I'm done, yo.
Yeah, that was
I'm
super
done.
balls. That was
Wait, I'm
super
50.
balls.
I don't have to pause nothing. That
But-
started in Harlem.
But Kenny,
I know those
it don't even matter if he could fight or not, because he clearly said this is an open carry state, and I got my thing on me, so I'm not concerned about the
We're
fight.
not whipping nothing out. Pause.
All right, Charlie, let me go ahead and get to these couple of super chats came through. Advanced Perception, $2 said, a tempered flame is more powerful than an inferno.
Facts.
Perception again, $2 says, any man that has to say, I am the king is no king. BZ Formula Baby Zaddy, $2 says, Jim Jones had a following Bruiser trash point.
Bruiser, you got the wrong idea and you assess the room real bad. And you copple with bad points. That it bewilders me. That you really rode this all night and gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Pause.
God damn.
Okay, that's pause too. Benefit of the doubt. Are you serious? Well, here's the one thing that he was unwilling to do that I'm willing to do with you, Darwin. I agree to disagree. I digress.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody that has blessed the platform tonight. Make sure we support each other, you guys. Give everybody a follow. Hit their IGs up, see what they got going on YouTube channels, all that good stuff. Want to thank everybody. The chat was lit tonight. Appreciate everybody. If you want in the chat and you just ride listening, thank you guys too. Catch us next time on King Talk. Hit that like button on the way out. And if you catch on replay, thank you as well.